Good evening, good
Herkese merhaba,
afternoon
iyi
as we
akşamlar,
cover the
iyi
world here.
sabahlar, iyi günler
And
herkese.
welcome back to Blue
Ve
Sky
tekrar hoş
Friends.
geldiniz
It's lovely to see all
Blue
of you
Sky
here.
programına. Mavi gökyüzü,
I keep pressing the admit button.
mavi gökyüzü
People are still
arkadaşlarım.
coming
Hepinizi
in.
görmekten mutluluk duyuyorum. İnsanlar
And
hala katılıyor.
so it's really exciting. This is what
Gerçekten mutlu an.
our fourth class, I think. That we
Bu
have
bizim
that we started just
dördüncü ders diye
recently,
düşünüyorum.
and we're going to be adding
Yakında
another
başladık
class starting next week.
ve
Anjali is going to
gelecek
be
hafta bir
presenting
daha
some
dersimiz
classes
olacak.
on
Anjali o
working
derste
with people
konuşma
who are
yapacak Anjali.
grieving, whether it's yourself or somebody
İnsanlarla
else,
çalışacak.
and how to help caregivers and things like
Yani
that.
birisini
And
kaybeden
she'll
ya
begin
birisinin
teaching those next week.
üzüntüyle
And
olan
so she'll
insanlar
be
konuşacak.
teaching on the
Bu
second
öğretileri
Friday
gelecek
of
hafta
every
başlayacak.
month.
O
I teach on the first, she teaches the second, and
iki,
then
iki
Ella
haftanın bir
teaches on
cumartesinde
the third Friday
o
of
ders
every
verecek.
month.
Ben
So
iki cumartesinin
you can
birinci
find us
cumartesinde
here
ama
on most
Ali üç
Fridays
cumartesinin üçüncü
every month.
cumartesinde
We
haftanın.
hope that you join us.
Yani
So
her cuma dersimiz var.
let me open
Ve
the
inanıyorum ki
chat.
sizin
Keep
hoşunuza
an
gidiyor bu
eye on the
şekilde.
chat.
Chat'a bakalım. Kim ne yazmış?
And so we're going to
Ve
continue today
biz
with
bugün
kind of
devam
where we left
edeceğiz.
off, and I'm not going to give a full
Nerede durmuştuk? Geçen hafta bitirmemiştik.
explanation of where we left off
Ben tam anlamını vermeyeyim.
because
Geçen hafta
it
nerede
would almost
durduğumuzu
be like having
anlatmayacağım.
a whole
Komple.
another class. But this is a course of
Daha
different
bir
classes
ders onun için adamak için.
that
Bu
we'll be
tabii
doing
ki
for another
bu kurs farklı
maybe couple of
dersler,
months that I'll be
farklı
teaching
görüşmeler
on good life
birkaç
beyond
ay
death,
içinde
and this is
yapacağız.
part 2 of it.
Ben ders vereceğim.
And
İyi
I
hayat
need
için.
to
Ölümden sonra bu
see some
parçada
interpreters
ikincisi.
here. I can see Ula, so I
Bakalım
can
bizim
keep track
tercümeler
of
nerede olduğunu
how quickly I'm speaking.
görüyorum
And
olayı. Çabuk, hızlı mı
okay.
konuşuyorum? Yok.
So we left off just to refresh your
Ve
memories
biz geçen
maybe
hafta
a little
durduğumuz
bit
yer
from a month ago.
kendimizi
We
hatırlatmak
left
için.
off asking, well,
Biz sormuştuk.
what is death awareness? Because we were talking about death awareness. And we were talking
Yani
about
ölümü anlamak ne
why
demek?
it's important to have
Çünkü
death
ölümü anlamak
awareness.
diye
But
konuşmuştuk.
we
Yani
didn't
neden
really
önemli
get
olduğunu,
into
yani
what is
farkına varmak
death
ölüm
awareness
hakkında.
and what kind of
Biz
death awareness do we want to
derinden
develop.
konuşmadık.
So
Farkındalık
that's where
ölüm
we're
hakkında
going to go
ve
today.
nasıl farkındalık
Is
ölüm
what
hakkında
kind of death awareness do
konuşmadık.
we want
Ve
to
bugün
develop
biz bu
and
hakkında
what kind
konuşacağız.
do we not want to
Nasıl
develop at all.
ölüm farkındalığı istiyoruz ve
The
hangisini
first one we're going to talk
istemiyoruz?
about is the one we don't want. We'll take care of that one first.
Birincisi
So
hakkında konuşacağız. Biz
as Ellie said
istemediğimiz,
2
yani
weeks ago,
ölüm
I
hakkındaki
think maybe
farkındalığı
1 month ago,
istemediğimiz. Ve Ali dediği
there's a
gibi 2 hafta
special
önce, eğer siz
pain
hatırlıyorsanız tabii ki,
when the
bir
mind
önem,
realizes it's
özel
losing
acı
contact
o
with its
anlıyorsa,
whole universe, with
yani
everything it has
bu
ever
dünya ile
known.
ilişkisini
That's
kaybediyorsa, onu anlıyorsa, bu zihin bildiğin her şeyle
It's
ilişkisini
losing the
kaybettiğini
people in their
anlıyorsa,
life, it's losing the things, your
onlar
ideas,
insanların,
your
eşyaların,
relationships,
fikirlerini kaybediyor bu hayatta
everything
ve
that they
ilişkilerini,
ever cared about.
her şeyi.
We're losing
Daha
what control
önce
we
bizim
thought we
hayatımızda
had
olan farkına vardığımız,
for all of
kaybettik
these things
kontrolü,
in our lives.
elimizde olan
And
bu
it's
şeyler
really,
için, bu her şey
when
için
all of that is
hayatımızdaki
being nipped
bu
away from you,
gerçekten,
it's pretty scary.
bunu sizden kopardığında bu
Including
çok
this
korkunç.
body that we identify with so much.
Ya
as me,
o beden de
as
yani
who I
biz
am.
kendimizi benimsediğimiz ben
We
kimim?
realize that this body that we've spent so much of our
Biz
time in
anlıyoruz
this
bu
life caring
beden,
for, to the
bu
exclusion of many,
bedene
many other
baktığımız,
things and other
sevdiğimiz
people,
bedenimiz
we
baş,
can't take it with
başka
us.
şeyler hayatımızdan göre
Right? We can't
biz
take it
bu
with us.
bedeni
Can't take our
yanımıza
things,
alamıyoruz. Doğru
our
mu?
friends,
Biz yanımıza götüremeyiz.
our
Eşyaları,
bodies,
arkadaşlarımızı yanımıza götüremeyiz. Bizim
and
bedenlerimizi.
all of that is being taken care of, taking away from us rather. And we
Bunların
don't
hepsi
even
bizden
know where
alıyorlar
we're going
elimizden.
to go next
Ve
and
biz
what will happen
bilmiyoruz.
next.
Ve
So
sonradan nereye gideceğimizi bilmiyoruz.
this
Sonra
can
ne
be a
olacağını
very
bilmiyoruz. Ve bu
terrifying
gerçekten
experience. Now,
kötü
2 weeks
deneyim.
ago, Geshe Michael
2 hafta
gave
önce
us a
Geshe Michael
beautiful outline, for those of you who were there,
çok güzel bir liste
of
verdi.
this old master
O
named
inzivada olanlar
Jetsun
için
Rendawa, about 16 steps,
Sandava'nın eski
like
master'ının
planning where we're
16
going to go
adım
next, planning
nereye
who our
gideceğimizi
family is going
planlamak
to be,
sonradan.
planning what our childhood would be like,
Sonradan bizim ailemiz
you know,
kim olacağını planlamak.
thinking about
Bizim
and
çocukluğumuz
planting
nasıl
those
olacağını
seeds
planlamak.
for where
Düşünmek,
we are going to go
planlamak
next.
ve bu
So
tohumları
there's some hope
ekmek,
there, right?
nereye
We can
gideceğimizi,
create some hope.
yani orada umut var
So
ve biz bir umut yaratabiliriz.
from that vantage point, we
Bu
can
andan
begin
itibaren
planting the seeds.
biz
Though
tohum
at the
ekmeye
time of
başlayabiliriz.
death, at the time that we shed this body, that
Ama
thing that we
ölüm
call death,
anında,
even
ama
being able
biz
to
bu
think is
bedenden
disrupted. And we start to
kurtulduğumuz
have
zaman
hallucinations,
ya düşünmek çok
our
zor o
perception of
anda.
reality
Bize bir
shifts.
görüntüler gelmeye başlıyor.
And it
Halüsinasyon.
continues to shift
Yani gerçeği
dramatically.
anlamak
And we
zor
don't
geliyor ve
even
bu
realize it.
sürekli değişecek ve
We don't
kötüye gidecek
realize
ve biz
that we
anlamıyoruz.
are hallucinating.
Biz farkına
And that,
varmıyoruz.
of course, like
Biz
everything else
halüsinasyon
that we
olduğumuzda ve her
have
şey
talked
gibi
about for many years, it's all coming
ne
from our
hakkında
own mind.
konuştuğumuz bu her şey bizim zihnimizden oluyor. Bu hakkında
At that
konuşmuştuk.
time,
Bizim
we're unable to
zihnimizden.
remember our reality
O zaman
before
biz
we began
hatırlayamayacağız bizim
hallucinating.
gerçeği.
So all of this is going on,
Halüsinasyonda önceki
right?
anı. Her şey oluyor o
Everything is
anda.
being ripped away from us. We're not thinking
Her
clearly.
şey
We're
bizden
having
koparılıyor o
hallucinations.
anda. Biz düşünmüyoruz.
We're
Yani
unable to
bizim
remember
halüsinasyonlar
our
var.
reality before that happened.
Hatırlayamayız bizim gerçeğimizi.
And so
Bu olmadan
naturally,
önce.
fear
Ve
and panic come.
gerçekten
We
biz
do
panikliyoruz.
not, let me say it again, we
Paniklemeye
do
başlıyoruz.
not need
Biz,
to meditate on it.
biz
It won't help anything to
bunun üzerine
meditate on it.
meditasyon yapmamamız lazım. Bu bize yardımcı
It
olmayacak.
will not
Tekrarlayacağım.
help to
Biz
meditate on the fear and panic.
meditasyon yapmayacağız.
In
Bu bize
fact, it will
yardımcı
probably
olmayacak.
paralyze you
Korku ve paniğe.
so that you can't do anything.
Bence
So
bu
you
bizi
can't live.
hareket
So this
ettirmeyecek.
is not,
Siz hiçbir şey
it
yapamayacaksınız.
is
Hareket
definitely
edemeyeceksiniz.
not
Bu
what we want to do. We
mutlak
don't want to
yapmayacağımız,
recreate the
yani
pain and
yapmamamız
terror
gereken şey.
that
Biz
we're going to feel
istemiyoruz
at the time of death. That's not the
bu
awareness of the death
acıyı
that
yaratmak
we're
ve
talking
bu
about having
o
to develop.
andaki yaşayacağımız arayın.
In
Bu o
fact, we want to
farkındalık değil
develop
bizim
something
konuştuğumuz ve kendi
that
içimize yaratmak istediğimiz. Bizim
counters
istediğimiz
that balances that out. Something that will guide our minds
yani
in a different
bu
direction
duyguyu dengede
at the time
tutacak.
of death.
Bizim zihnimizi başka tarafa
And that's why
yönlendirecek
we
o
need to
andaki.
educate ourselves
Bundan dolayı
about it.
bize kendimizi buna öğretmemiz lazım.
So what is the awareness of death, which is the one that we want to develop? Let's talk about that now. We already
Ölüm
talked
farkındalığı
about what we don't
yaratmak
want to
istediğimiz.
develop. Right?
Biz demiştik
Even
ne istediğimizi söylemiştik. Şimdi ne istediğimiz
there
hakkında
is
konuşacağız.
a meditation practice you can do if you're going to go into a difficult
Meditasyon
situation
uygulaması eğer
where you
siz
are scared,
zor
right?
ansa,
And you can think about yourself in
siz
that future place
korkmuşsanız,
and
eğer
take away that
acı
fear.
çekiyorsanız ve
And
sonradan düşünebilirsiniz.
this
Ön-
is what
önceden
a
kendinizi
good
düşünüp
death
ve bu acıyı
meditation is like, the one we want to
alacaksınız.
develop.
Ve bu iyi meditasyon, ölüm
So
meditasyonu. Ve biz bunu uygulamak istiyoruz. Bu acıyı ve paniği alıyoruz kendimizden.
there is not a single being, right, who has taken on a body like ours,
Hiçbir şey yok ki
a body that's been created by past
bu
deeds and good thoughts and negative thoughts.
bizim bedenimizden alabilecek
There's
eski
no one who
düşünceyi,
is
hareketlerimizi
not
yaratan hiç kimse yok
absolutely
ki
certain
mutlak.
that they will die, right? They're not exempt.
Yani bildikleri yani öleceğini. Ölüm herkesi alacak. Yani herkes ölecek. Onu
And
herkes bilecek.
it is true, it's said, in
Ve
the
bu
short
gerçek
run, that trying to
deniyor
develop
ki
fear about this fact might not enable you to stop it.
korkuyu
But you really
o
must
andaki
try to develop some
korku
fear
size
that
yardımcı
you might
olmayacak.
die before
Size
you've been able to achieve your goals
dağıt
for your
yaratmanız
future life.
lazım ki yani gelecek hayatınızın için hedeflerinize ulaşmadan
What does that
ölebileceğinizi
mean?
düşünmeniz lazım.
That you might die before you
Ne
can
demek bu?
manage to put an end to anything that might cause you to be born.
Sen öldün,
Born where? Well,
bir şey
we
yapmadan önce
talk
mi
about
öldün ve
different realms,
doğdun? Biz farklı
different realms we've
seviye
talked about.
alanları hakkında
We don't want to
konuşmuştuk.
be reborn as an animal, which is a realm that
Biz
we can
hayvan
see.
gibi doğmak
We want
istemiyoruz.
to at least have a human rebirth, right?
Yani bizim hayatımızda
So
gördüğümüz hayvanlar gibi biz insan
we
olarak
want to be
tekrardan doğmak
able
istiyoruz. Biz
to
istiyoruz ki
plant seeds for a future
tohum ekmek
where
gelecek için,
for a
gelecekte
future where you won't have to be born, say, as an animal, that you can be born at least as a human.
bir hayvan gibi doğmanıza gerek
You
yok.
want to be able to put to an
Yani
end
insan olarak doğabilirsin.
things that would cause you to be
Durdurmaya
born as an animal.
çalışacaksınız. Durdurmak istersiniz.
And maybe you don't believe in
Yani sizi
rebirth.
bir şey durdurmak istersiniz. Yani sizi hayvan
That's
gibi
okay.
doğuracak şeyleri. Belki
But we
siz
don't
yeni
know where
doğuşa
we're going
inanmıyorsunuz ama bu
unless
gayet
you
normal.
have some special vision or
Reenkarnasyonu.
something.
Ama biz nereye
So
gideceğimizi
we
bilmiyoruz.
want to
Belki
achieve
yani
things
sizin
in this
özel
life that will
görüşünüz
lead
yoksa
us to
ondan dolayı biz
a good birth
şeyleri
in
bu
our next
hayatta
life.
ulaşmaya çalışıyoruz. Bize yardımcı olacak. Yeni doğum
And so
için.
if we had a
Sonraki hayat
fear
iyi
of,
olsun diye.
say, being born
Bir bizim
as
korku
an
var
animal,
doğmak.
we'd probably
Hayvan
want to
gibi.
do something about it in this life. So that at the
Ondan dolayı bizim
moment of death,
bu hayatta
there'd be no
kendimize
reason to
bakmamız
be.
lazım. Korku olmasın. Ölüm anında hiçbir korku olmasın.
That would be pretty cool.
Bu
And
güzel olurdu.
so the goal of this meditation, the goal that we're going,
Ve bu
of the meditation
meditasyonda
we're going to learn is not to dwell on the fear of
öğreneceğimiz
death
meditasyonda
or be pessimistic
korku hakkında düşünmek değil.
or have some kind of bad feeling about death. The
Yani ya da
point is to
pesimist
have a
olmak değil
good
yani
death
ölüm
meditation.
hakkında kötü an olmasın diye. Biz
In fact,
istiyoruz
it's
ki
to not be
güzel
afraid.
meditasyon.
It's to not terrorize you.
Ya öldüğümüzdeki korku anı olmasın diye.
It's not to get into
Kendimizi
some kind of
korkutmamak için
depressing thing,
o anda.
right? Where you're imagining with your eyes falling out or your body not moving
Kendi
or whatever it
gözünüzü
is.
halletmeyip nasıl düşüyorsunuz,
not
nasıl
for
ölüyorsunuz.
It's not to make you nervous
Bu bunun için değil.
or afraid or depressed or anything like that.
Ya korkun ya da depresyona
goal-
girmeniz için değil.
The
Hayır.
goal is this, that you're truly thinking each time you undertake an activity
Gerçekten
and each time you start to
siz bir şey
acquire
yaptığınızda
a new
ve
possession,
her
a
seferinde
new drinking
siz
cup or something like that. Do I need
yeni bir şey
this
aldığınızda,
thing?
yeni.
Do I need to do this?
Kendinizin
As
sorun bu
if
şey bana
this were
lazım
the
mı diye.
last day of my life.
Bunu şimdi yapmak için benim için önemli mi?
That's the crux
Eğer
of the
bu benim
question.
hayatımın son günü olsaydı,
If this were the
bu
very
soru
last day,
önemli
and we
olan.
don't know, right?
Eğer bu benim son
Would I
günüm
want to be doing this?
olsaydı ölümüm. Biz bilmiyoruz.
Am I really doing what I really want to do if I'm
Ve
going
bunu
to
yapar
die
mıydım?
tonight? And of course, we don't live that way, do we? We have this whole scenario that we're going to live until we're 102 and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And we're all old enough to know that some of the people and animal friends around us also had those dreams and plans, and they died. And they didn't know that was going to happen.
Ve onlar öldüler. Ve onlar
So we need
bilmiyorlardı
to be
onların
prepared.
olacağını.
And we're prepared by the choices that we make in our lives, the seeds that we plant in our lives. And this particular state of mind can be divided into two. One is, did I do all the worldly things
Yani
I
zihin
wanted to do before I
farkındalığın
die?
her şeyi
Like,
bu dünyada yaptım mı
did I
ölmeden
go to
önce?
all the places I
Mesela
wanted to go? Did I learn everything, or am I in the process of learning
gitmek istediğim
everything
her yere gittim mi? Öğrenmek
that I
istediğim her
wanted
şeyi
to learn?
öğrendim. Ya da bir şey yaparken
Do
bir şey
them
öğrenmek
one
istedim
by
mi?
one. In English, we call this a bucket list.
Bir ara birinci
All the
İngilizce
things that
biz
we
diyoruz
want to do in our
bucket
life in a
list.
bucket. Start
Yani
doing them.
arzularımızı yerine
Don't put
getirmek.
them off.
Sanki
Because you don't
bir
have
kova ve
time.
onun içinde arzularımız var. Şimdi yapmaya
So
başlayın, sonra bırakmayın. Çünkü
do your
zamanınız
wildest
yok.
dreams, even your wildest worldly dreams. I'm not talking spiritual ones here yet. So that's the first
Yani
state of mind.
manevi hedeflerinizi söylemiyorum.
A
Hayat,
good meditation state of mind is,
hayattayız. Bu dünyada ne
I'm gonna
istiyorsunuz?
die
Bu
tonight.
birincisi. İkincisi
What do I want to do right now?
farkına varması. Ben bugün
You might
öleceğim. Ben bugün
start
ne
to
yapmak istiyorum?
change what your career is going to be.
Belki siz kendi işinizi
When
değiştirebilirsiniz.
it's interesting, I was helping lead a retreat last week
Enteresan.
at a place called Diamond
Ben
Mountain
geçen hafta
Retreat
inzivayla
Center.
yardım etmiştim Elmas Dağı'nda.
And this came up really
Bu
strongly.
inzivanın
Like,
ortasında
we talked about
ve
it.
bu konuda bize
How a death
çok güçlü
meditation can
geldi.
make your life
Bu
so
konuda
vibrant
konuşmada
and so alive. Like,
nasıl değiştirebilir
before you even wake up in
ya
the
da öyle
morning
güzel canlı yapabilir.
and you're laying in bed. It's like,
Yani
okay,
sabah
today were the
kalktığınızda bile
last day of my life.
yatağınıza
Even
yattığınızda
if I have to go to work,
eğer
how do
benim
I
son
want to
gün
show up?
olsaydı ben ne yapardım?
What
Yani
do I
işe
want it to
gitmek
look
zorunda
like?
olsam da nasıl orada kendi duruşumu
And
nasıl
if you
olacaktı
really
yani
do this, not the morbid side,
bu dünya
this
için.
side, your life
Eğer siz
will
gerçekten bunu
begin to
yapıyorsunuz
change.
yani moral bozacak değil ki.
What
Yani
you do,
güzel taraf
how you live your
hayat
life,
değişmeye başlıyor.
what your job
Siz
looks
ne
like,
yapıyorsunuz? Nasıl hayatınızı yaşıyorsunuz?
even in your dreams.
Sizin işiniz nasıl gözükecek?
And you should be doing
Sizin
all the things you
arzularınız
dreamed
bile
of. Because you're aware that you
biriniz
might not have
ve
another
sizin
chance to do it.
istediğiniz şeyi yapmanız lazım. Çünkü siz
Mostly we
anlıyorsunuz
put off,
başka şansınız
doing
olmayacak
things.
bunu yapmak için.
I'll try that thing later.
Genellikle biz bunu
I'll
sonra
go to that
bırakırız.
country later. Or
Ben bunu
something like
sonra
that.
yaparım. Bu ülkeye
Do it
sonra
now.
uçarım, giderim. Şimdi yapın.
And I think maybe you can get a sense that if you're thinking like that,
Ve bence
you'd
belki
always be doing the most
siz böyle
vibrant,
düşünürseniz
the most
öyle şeyler
powerful thing
yapacaksınız ki
in
en
your life.
canlı, en
And your
güçlü
meditations would be like
hayatınızdaki
that too.
ve
Because you'd be
meditasyonunuz da
faced
öyle
with the
olacak.
idea that you're going to
Çünkü
die
siz
today.
oradan o fikirle
Inviting
olacaksınız
you to
bunu
actually
göreceğiniz
go out
hakkında.
into the world
Sizi davet
today,
ediyorum.
tomorrow, the next day,
Şeyde
and try
bilmenizi,
and
bugün,
have that
yarın
worldview.
ve
See what
anlamanız
happens.
o hayatı
See if your life doesn't become
algılamak
very
ve bakın
exciting.
sizin ne değişecek, ne
And
olacak,
you're not
sizin
wasting a
hayatınız
moment.
daha mutlu
You've
olacak
got
mı?
all this stuff happening and you're excited
Ve
about
siz
it.
bir an
Cool things are
kaybetmiyorsunuz.
happening.
Her şey sizin oluyor. Biz o kadar mutluyuz ki. Çok güzel şeyler oluyor sizinle.
I'm waiting for translators to catch up. Sorry. You're automatically disregarding the little
Siz
things,
otomatik
the petty things. You don't care if the food is cooked right. You don't care about stupid things. You don't care if somebody said something bad about
fark
you.
ettim. Düşünmüyorsunuz
Just
yani
like,
iyi mi, doğru mu
okay,
diye, kötü
that's
şeyler
fine.
hakkında düşünmüyorsunuz. Kim bir ne
And then
dedi
you go on.
hakkında düşünmüyorsunuz. Önemli olmayan şey. Ve devam ettiğiniz zaman,
Your whole viewpoint
hayatta
changes.
devam ettiğiniz zaman
That's a real death meditation.
sizin bakış açınız değişiyor.
So I hope
Bu
you're getting
meditasyon
a
bizim yaptığımız.
feeling today
Bu meditasyon.
about what a
İnanın
good death
bu
meditation is
duyguyu
like.
aldınız ki
And if you do that
niye o meditasyon, böyle
on a daily
meditasyon.
basis,
Eğer siz
if
bunu
it becomes
yapıyorsanız
part of your morning
her
habit
gün
before you get up,
sizin
or when you get up and brush your teeth and look in the
alışkanlığınız
mirror,
yoksa ya da sabah
when death comes, you
dişinizi
won't
yakarken,
regret a
kendinize
thing.
bakarken
Now, wouldn't that be nice?
ölüm geldiği zaman hiçbir şey pişman
What a
olmayacaksınız.
relief
Güzel
that would
olur,
be,
değil
right?
mi?
So prioritize what we do
Bu bizim için
in our lives
rahatlık olurdu. Onun için kendinizi
towards the
önemseyin.
people,
Ne
the
yapıyorsunuz
things which will
hayatınızda?
influence our mind
İnsanlara karşı, şeylere
after this
karşı.
body is gone.
Yani sizin zihninize önem veren, yani bir bedeni kaybettiğinizde zihninize.
You don't want to be on your deathbed thinking, oh, I wish I would have done that thing. I wish
Anda
I would have gone
olduğunuzda
to the safari
ve
park
düşünmek istemiyorsunuz.
in
Ben bunu
Kenya
yapmak isterdim. Ben
and seen those beautiful wild animals.
Kenya'daki safari parkına gitmek isterdim. Güzel
You don't
hayvanları
want to be
görmek
on your
isterdim.
deathbed thinking about that.
Siz
We
istemiyorsunuz
want to be
en
on our
son ölüm
deathbeds going,
anınızda bu şekilde düşünün.
I lived a
Biliyor musunuz
good
neyi
life.
düşünmek istiyorsunuz? Ben güzel
I
hayat
lived a
yaşadım.
life that was full,
Ben
that served a lot of
güzel,
people,
dolu,
that helped,
çok insanlara
I helped my
yardım ettim,
family,
hayat yaşadım.
I helped my community.
Kendi ailemi
And part of that is not putting off the things that you
Sankaya.
want to do. And you meet old people constantly telling you that.
Bunu
You know,
sonra
you ask an
bırakmamak,
older
yani
person,
yapmak
what's
istediğiniz şeyi ve siz karşılaşıyorsunuz
the
insanları.
worst thing about being
Yaşlı
old?
insanlar hiç zaman değil.
And many
Yaşlı
of them
insandan
will say, you know
sizin
what?
en korkunç
Back
şey
in
yaşlı olduğunuzda. Ve
1943, I
çoğu
met
size
this
derler ki biliyor
guy.
musun?
He was really cute and I wanted to say something,
1943 yılında bir
but I
adamla
didn't.
karşılaştım. Çok iyiydi ki
And
Ben
I
ona bir
still
şey
think
söylemek
about
istedim ama ben ona söylemedim.
that. And I should have gone for
Ve
it.
ben o hakkında hala düşünüyorum.
It's the regrets of the
Ben
things
bunu
that we
denemek
didn't do.
lazım, denemem lazımdı. Yapmadığın şeyin
I
pişmanlığı
have a friend who's 92 years old, and she's depressed about
oldu. 92 yaşında
not
arkadaşım var.
necessarily the
O
thing. Well, yes,
depresyonda.
some of the things that she didn't do. Like she never went traveling.
Yani yapmadığı
And
şeyleri için
I
pişman.
travel a
Yani
fair
hiçbir
amount
zaman
and go
geziye
around the
gitmedi.
world. And she's like,
Çok
oh, I
uzun
wish I had
yani
done that.
dünyayı
I
gezdi.
wish I had done that.
Ama o diyor ki yani onu
So
yapmak isterdim, bunu
go
yapmak
for it
isterdim.
now.
Şimdi yapın bunu.
Might be a little scary,
Belki biraz
but
korkunç
go
gelir,
for it.
korkutur. Ama yapın onu.
And
Yapmak
don't
istediğiniz
waste your time.
şeyleri şimdi.
Don't let the opportunity go by
Ve
now
zamanınızı kaybetmeyin.
and you didn't go for it.
Bu fırsatları kaçırmayın.
So
Yani yapmak istediğiniz
talking
şeyi
about
denemek için.
getting to the end of your life on your
Söyleyin.
deathbed,
Bu hakkında söyleyin.
knowing that perhaps cancer is killing you and you're
Biz
sitting there
hayatımızın nasıl
thinking about all the
bitiyor.
things you coulda,
Yani
shoulda,
belki
might have done.
hastalıktan ölüyoruz ya da
You're
istediğiniz
thinking
şeyleri
about
yapmak
doing
istediniz
something
ama
exciting
yapamadınız.
and something you really wanted to do.
Güzel bir şey yapmak istediniz. Mesela inanılmaz bir şey ve gerçekten çok çok istediğiniz bir şey.
You're thinking, maybe I should have finished
Siz düşünüyorsunuz belki
this project I had,
ben
right?
projeyi bitirmem
But I
lazımdı.
kept putting it off.
Ama ben sürekli bunu
And
bırakıyorum,
to die with those
erteliyorum
kinds of thoughts on your mind
ve
plants negative seeds.
bu düşüncelerin
So again,
düşünmek
and I don't know
zihnimizde
why
kötü
this guy is holding
tohumlar
this green
ekiyor.
plant.
Ondan
It's
dolayı
just what
bilmiyorum
AI stuck in there.
neden
It does funny
bu adam
things sometimes. Right?
yeşil çiçek tutuyor. Bunun
If
yapay
you do a
zeka
good
yapıyor.
death meditation your
Enteresan,
whole
birazcık
life,
komik.
every day you're
Eğer
waking up
siz
and saying,
ölüm
what's the
meditasyonu
most
iyi
exciting thing
yapıyorsanız
I can
hayatınızın
do
hepsi
today to
değişecek.
serve others?
Her gün uyandığımızda
What can I
kendinize
do to
diyeceksiniz en
really
güzel
put the
şey ben
fire
bugün
out
ne
there today?
yapabilirim diye. Ben
And
ne
this
yapabilirdim ki
is my last day on
kalbimdeki
earth.
ışık yansın diye. Eğer
If you
bugün
did
bu
that,
benim son
if
günümse
you questioned it day
eğer siz
after
bunu
day for months, 2
yapsaydınız ve
months,
sorsaydınız
imagine what
farz
it
edin
would be like, in fact, if someone did it for a whole year.
nasıl olurdu?
Imagine how life looks to them.
Eğer bir
The
sene
kind of
içinde yapsaydınız hayatınız nasıl
opportunities
değişirdi?
they'd be running after and stuff like
Nasıl
that.
fırsatlar?
Some of them don't all work out, of course.
Yani nasıl fırsatlar
It's
peşine
gonna die
koşmalı?
tonight anyway.
Tabii ki bazıları
Who cares if they
olmayacak.
don't work out?
Bugün gece öyle.
And then you die
Farkında
happy.
değil yani. Fark etmez çalışmasa da
Because
ama
you
siz
can
mutlu
honestly
öleceksiniz.
say you tried your
Çünkü
best.
siz gerçekten söyleyebilirsiniz.
You know, I went for it.
Elinizden gelen her şeyi yaptığınız
I
dair.
didn't always succeed.
Ve gerçekse ben denedim.
I had a
Ben
lot of
her
problems.
zaman
A lot of
yapamıyordum.
people thought I was crazy.
Çok problemim
But
vardı.
I can say I
Çoğu insan ben
tried my
aklım
best.
kaçırmış diye düşünüyordu. Ama
I
diyebilirim
didn't
ki
waste my time
ben elimden gelen her şeyi yaptım.
for a moment.
Zamanımda kaybettim. Bir an bile zamanımda kaybetmedim.
So next I'm going to take you through the
Sonraki
beginning of a longer
ben size
meditation that we're going to do
baştan
over
uzun meditasyon
a few
başına geçeceğiz.
months.
Biz onu yapacağız.
And we're going to begin it today.
Birkaç
So
ay
have a drink of
içinde
water,
ve
get
biz bugün bunu
comfortable,
başlayacağız. Birazcık su için.
get ready to meditate.
Rahat oturun, burada olun. Bu anda güzel. Yani meditasyon yapmak için hazırlanın. Rahat olun, rahat yerde seçin kendiniz için.
As I lift my shoulders, I saw Rach do it too. Okay, get ready to
Ya
meditate.
omuzun
Take your
kaldırımda siz de
meditation
yaptığınızı gördüm.
posture.
Meditasyona hazırlanın. Meditasyon pozisyonu alın.
Straight spine, relaxed face and shoulders.
Düz arka. Yüzünüzü rahatlatın. Omuzlarınız.
Relaxed mouth. A little smile on your face.
Ağzınız rahat.
Tuck your tummy in a little.
Küçük
It helps to
gülümseme.
straighten your spine and bring the energy
İçinizde
up
içeri doğru
from the
çek.
base of it.
Arkanızı düz tutmak için,
Come to your
omuzunuzu
breath.
düz tutmak için yardımcı olur ve enerjiyi içinize çekmek için yardımcı olur.
And just feel
Nefes
the air
almaya
moving
başlayalım.
out and in.
Sadece hissedin. Nefes girip çıktığını, sizin burnunuzdan girip çıktığını hissedin.
Imagine you're in a place where there's a large building,
Hayal edin
almost
ki siz
like a
beraber
castle.
büyük bina, yani kale gibi
It's made of
gözüküyor.
earthen bricks, and it stands on a little island at the
Yerden
bottom.
ve tuvadan yapılmış ve bu kale küçük bir adada.
In the center is an open courtyard, and around the place is
Ortasında
a moat, a depression
büyük
that has
bak
water.
ve kalenin etrafında, şatonun etrafında su, dere var.
And on the far side of the moat, on that bank, is an empty
Ve
clearing.
arkasında bu derenin açık alan var. Yani orada hiçbir şey yok.
And behind the clearing, a forest begins.
Ve o yerin arkasında, o şatonun arkasında
Imagine that you're struggling through this forest. It's
orman.
thick, it's dark,
Hayal
it's
edin ki
wild,
siz
and it's very
bu
hard to get through.
ormandasınız ve bu ormandan çok zor hareket ediyorsunuz. Karanlık,
You have a backpack on,
taşlar kalın, onlar sizi
and
çiziyor
you're
ve çok
carrying
zor
all this
geçiyorsunuz.
stuff. It's heavy, and there's
Arkanızda çantanız var, sırt
stuff
çantanız.
in it, and there's
Ve
stuff
siz bu
hanging
her
off
şeyi
of it.
arkanızda taşıyorsunuz ve bu o kadar zor ki. Farklı şeyler var bu çantada,
You've
bir
got a big
şeyler
water
çıkıyor, dışa
bottle,
çıkmış.
a water bowl, a big water bottle,
Büyük
a
su şişeniz
sleeping
var.
bowl, like a sleeping bag, and all
Sizin
these things are hanging off you, and it's heavy, and you're fighting, you're
uyku
trying to get through the woods.
battaniyeniz var ve her şey o
Imagine
çantada.
that.
Ve bu ormandan zor gitmek, yani siz savaşıyorsunuz bu ormanı geçmek için.
And finally, you break out into the clearing in front of the moat.
Ve tabii ki siz
And you're
çıkıyorsunuz
standing there in the
bu boş
clearing.
alana ve orada duruyorsunuz o anda.
You're dirty and tired and hot and sweaty.
Kirlisiniz,
And you have all
yorgunsunuz,
these things hanging above you.
sıcak, terlemişsiniz ve her şey arkanızdaki bu çantada size basan ve bu orman
And you look up finally.
ve siz bakıyorsunuz ki
And you see that there's a bridge
nihayet
crossing the moat into the building.
ve görüyorsunuz ki köprü var bu dereden bu
You're
şatoya
on this
giden.
side of the bridge, the far side, and you want to go to the building.
Siz çıkıyorsunuz ve bu şatoya gitmek istiyorsunuz.
And just in front of the bridge at the opening are a whole bunch of tables covered
Ve
with food and drink. And there's all these people helping themselves. They're all crowding around the tables, and you're thirsty. You're hungry. You're hot. You're tired. And you have all this junk on you. You're trying to reach some of the food and the drink, but there's too many people there, and it's hot and it's crowded. And you have to begin pushing people out of the way to get to the tables. And you do. You're pushing people out of the way, old people, young people. You're trying to reach the food and the drink. Now think about living a life of a person who doesn't remember death, who doesn't recall death, who has no death awareness. They're just like me in that moment. They're just grabbing after small things, petty things, and hurting other people to get them. They're collecting bad seeds while they waste their lives. That represents the first part of this path, the first meditation, which is on the problems of not remembering your death. You're just grasping after small, petty things of this life and hurting other people to get them. So, next time you do this meditation, connect that to the table and the food and all the people who are gathering around it. And the junk on your back is all the unnecessary possessions, all the unnecessary relationships, and unnecessary activities that you're engaged in that don't really make you happy. They just fill up time. If you have time, identify the possessions in your pack. Like the backpack represents the mortgage payments weighing you down. You know? The water bottle is big and bulky. That's maybe your car. You make the connections like that. Do you want to be that person pushing and grabbing for things? Next, think about how good it would be to have a good death meditation. Here, you're breaking out of the crowd, you're making your way towards the bridge. You know, it's one of those drawbridges on a castle that goes over the moat. You've become tired and fed up with the scene around the tables. You don't want to live like that. So you're breaking out of that scene. The space between you and the bridge gets smaller and smaller. And then you finally make it to the bridge. And the bridge is the next step in the meditation. These are the benefits of a good death meditation. Slowly, you go across the bridge and begin to take junk off your back. You take stuff off your belt, off your chest, off your backpack, and you throw it into the water. It represents getting rid of those unnecessary possessions, extraneous possessions, and extraneous activities, the useless things that we work for and spend our time on, that we don't need, that are not helping us. Take off that big weight around your neck, social media, and throw it into the water. Maybe even your phone. So start throwing them off and feel your body and your back getting lighter and lighter as you cross the bridge. Give each object a meaning in your own mind. So you've lightened your load. You're feeling much happier. It's not so tiring and hot anymore. You've gotten rid of all those things that were weighing you down. And we're coming close to the end of the bridge. We're feeling light, but we're still tired and dirty, scratched up from being in the forest. You come to the end of the bridge, and there in front of you are standing a few tough guys who are guarding the door into the castle. and they are not interested in letting you in at all. These are like big, rough guys with knives or swords or some kind of blades, right? And you have to get through them. So you begin thinking to yourself, how am I going to get through them? And you start to pick up speed and you run as hard as you can. And now that you no longer have all that heavy baggage, you burst through them and get through them. That represents the normal fear of death, which is a lousy death meditation. That represents the third part. What was that third part? What is a good death meditation? What would it be to have a good death meditation? So first we go through the wrong one, which is to be afraid of death, like to fear it in a normal way. In the way of a person who's suddenly faced with a life-threatening situation. And they have some kind of knee-jerk reaction to save their life. Or a person who's just had heart pain and the experience of fear and panic. That's not death meditation. The next step, the next meditation, is to overcome that fear and drive past that fear and not think of death that way. So we break through a kind of negative death meditation. We break through these people with the knives, and they don't touch you. And then suddenly it's as if you took a bath. You're clean, you smell good, your body's covered with some kind of scent. Your whole body's totally clean. You feel light and strong and happy. You're covered with these light, comfortable clothes like silk. And in front of you, there's this grassy section between you and the building that we're going to enter. But before that door that opens into the building, there's a meadow, beautiful grass. And you're just dancing across it like very light and very happy. And that represents a good death meditation. The kind of death meditation we want to do. And this kind of death meditation is really just some kind of feeling of lightness. Every moment living as if it were your last moment. And feeling free and unencumbered by things you don't need or activities you don't need to be doing. Light and happy and lean, and dancing across that meadow. That represents the goal of a good death meditation. So now you're standing in front of a door, and that will be the beginning of how to do the death meditation, which I will share with you in the next class. So stay tuned. Come back to your breath. Three long exhales. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So we have a few minutes left here. So let's see how much further we get in what I prepared for you. So those were the first 3 steps. And now we're on to number 4, which are the actual steps to develop death awareness. The one that we want to cultivate, the one which will help us. And there are 3 principles for meditating on death. The first one, it is certain I will die. Number 2, there's no certainty when I will die. And number 3, nothing but what is in our hearts can help us. So how is it certain that I will die? Right? The first principle of death meditation is it is absolutely certain that I will die. Doesn't matter how strong I am, how good I've been, how many people love me, how rich I am, how good my doctor is, what a good yogi I have been. Doesn't matter where I go, right? Doesn't matter what I do to try to stay alive. Nothing can stop my leaving this impure body behind. And that's what we call death. It's getting rid of this impure body. So consider, death is certain. Leaving this body behind is certain. Nothing can stop it. We can't add time to our life. And when we die, nothing but how we have treated others can help us. Death will come and nothing can stop it. Right? It's impossible to add time. Every breath we take, we are one breath closer to death. Our life is leaking away every moment with every thought. Every thought, every word, every action, every meditation, etc. Right? So when we die, it's all a reflection on how we have cared for others. Some good people die young. Some cruel people live into ripe old age. And this life mostly reflects the seeds we have planted in past lives. We can't just sit back and take comfort in being young, but we do. We aren't worried. And it is certain that you will die if you don't do anything about it without having had any time to practice goodness while you were alive. The second principle is there's no certainty when we will die. Our lifespan is not fixed. We don't know when we're going to die. It could be today, tomorrow, next year, in 20 years. Some people die young, right? Some old, some die sick, some die healthy. Seems to be random. Scientists and governments calculate an average lifespan. This too changes over time, right? It only means that half the people die under that age and half the people die over that age. Which one will each of us be? Will you die before your kids or after them? We don't know. We can't add time to our lives. The seeds for this life are finite. They have an end. We will use them all up. And also the things which can kill us are many, and the things which sustain us are few. Like little things that we can't see with our naked eye. Viruses, bacteria, autoimmune diseases, dividing cells. And then there's inanimate things external to our bodies, right? Food, cars, the stairs you fall down, the thorn you get in your toe. Also, some Asian cultures, they talk about the elements which make up our bodies, like earth, which is solidity, and water, which is fluidity, the ability to flow. Heat, warmth in our body, wind, movement. Right? They say that these four energies are constantly in flux. And the things which keep us alive are few. Water, air, food, shelter, medicine, sugar can all kill us. So the things we depend on to survive can kill us. Because of the seeds, because of seeds that we have, these things can become such that they do not and cannot sustain us. Somebody chokes on a piece of food, right? So our bodies are extremely fragile. A tiny thorn can cause death if it gets infected. No matter how healthy you seem to be, how sick you seem to be, we are only 4 minutes from death. They say 4 minutes without air. And quite frankly, it's a miracle it hasn't happened yet, right? Or a tiny virus like COVID or AIDS. A random radiation particle hits one cell and we get cancer. We can die so easily. And we never have enough time even to do the things we want to do. Time passes so quickly. And we're also easily distracted by our worldly needs and desires and obligations. So we spend very little time planting the seeds for what we can take with us when we die. So what can help us when we die? When you die, there's not a single one of your friends or relatives that you can take along with you. When you die, you cannot carry along with you a single molecule or atom of any material wealth you have. And when you die, you must give up even the flesh and bone. They're part of your very being. So what do? Knowing that we will have to die, we resolve to begin our practice of being kind to others and ourselves today. Knowing that we could die anytime, we must quit primarily focusing on our worldly work. Meaning, what is the most important thing I can do? Would death meditation help me to do this every day? And finally, since nothing else can help me, I must develop into a kind person now. A person who is going for a hike for many miles doesn't fill up their backpack with a lot of junk that they won't be needing. So I invite you to do this meditation, listen to this class again, get familiar with the meditation, and then begin to see what good things does your death meditation inspire you to do. What things in my life do I want to continue to do with enthusiasm? And which ones do I want to bring to a successful conclusion? Use this chance to start or continue creating the life that you want in this life, because how we live this life is intricately involved in how we will leave this life behind. So with a few minutes over time, we made it to the end of class. I wanted to answer Barbara's question. If you want to stay, let me answer that question. And if any of the rest of you have questions. She asks, can Tonglen be done for ourselves if we have a terminal illness? And the very simple answer is yes, of course. By doing Tonglen, we open our hearts to our suffering and to the suffering of others. We see it being taken away. It reminds me of a story, in fact, just a quick one. When my father died of pancreatic cancer, and when he was in rehab, I was talking with him, and he was a scientist. And he was telling me, I imagine, I don't remember how many centimeters big it was, but I imagine this dark 5 centimeter lump in my chest, and I imagine it just going away. And I looked at him and I said, wow, that's interesting. We have a meditation like that called Tonglen. And he asked me to teach it to him. And so for the next maybe month or so, he didn't live very long after that, I would go and lead him in a Tonglen meditation on his tumor in his pancreas. And it put his mind at ease. And I think it was very helpful. It may not take the terminal illness away. It will change your relationship for sure with it. And it could take it away as well. We need to use everything that we have to help keep us healthy and strong so that we can serve others. So good question. Thank you for that, Barbara. Any other questions? And I'm going to close this. Oh, yeah, there we are. Are there any other questions? Well, I hope this wasn't too depressing today. And I hope, in fact, it was inspiring to begin thinking about, okay, I'm not here for a permanent amount of time. What is the best thing I can do with my life? How can I serve? Right? So give me a few days to get these videos up online on our YouTube channel. You can look for it under Blue Sky Friends. You can also find the URL for it on our website, blueskyfriends.org. And then next week, Anjali will be talking about grief. So if that's something you want to learn about, please come and join her class. Same time, same place. And I'll see you next month. So don't forget this meditation because we're going to pick up where we left off. Don't worry, we'll review it a little bit before we pick up again. Have a good rest of your day, evening. It's been a pleasure to be here. See you soon. Bye-bye.
Спасибо большое, дорогой учитель.
Thank you, teacher. Thank you so much.
I like looking at all of you. It's fun.
Muchas gracias, maestra Kielce. Por favor, quédate.
Благодарю. Спасибо.